Alright, boys, it's time for my review of Star Wars Outlaws! Star Wars! And right off the bat, I couldn't do a full review of this game because I ran into a save glitch that kept erasing my progress, so I just gave up. After the second time it happened, I was done with it. So I'll come back and maybe re-examine this later, but I feel like I saw at least what I needed to see to get a feel of the game, so... Alright, let's talk a little bit about Star Wars Outlaws! It's an action-adventure game developed by Massive Entertainment and published by Ubisoft. Oof, Ubisoft. Might be one of their last ones, boys. That ship is sinking. Massive Entertainment, though, is the same studio that is mainly known for the Division series, and I had a lot of fun with the Division. You know, you can question their decision making going down the line and how they changed up the game over time and all that stuff, but especially Division 1, I really enjoyed the Division 1. This game is set in the Star Wars universe between the events of The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And you play as Kay Vess, a young scoundrel looking to assemble a team for a massive heist in order to pay off a crime syndicate. That's Kay Vess, everybody. All 100 pounds of her soaking wet. Alright, let's move on to the gameplay, the good aspects of it. Movement and traversing the map feels pretty smooth, honestly. Whether you're just walking around the cities or riding around on your speeder bike, the movement feels pretty good. Especially after a few upgrades to your bike, you'd be jumping around and turbo boosting everywhere and that kind of stuff, so it can be fun, for sure. You have a grappling hook that you can use in certain spots to get up to higher places, and you can clamber certain walls and ledges as well. And you'll usually be able to see which ledges and things you can get up on. Especially, you know, because it's Ubisoft, so they use the yellow paint for everything to let you know, hey, you can interact with this! So, you'll have that too. I found that the climbing aspect of the game to me felt like a stripped down version of Assassin's Creed meets Uncharted, especially old Uncharted, like Uncharted 1 or 2, when you're just jumping back and forth to ledges. Press A and they like lean off the ledge towards A, you jump over there, that kind of thing. Felt like Uncharted to me. You eventually get access to a ship that you can use to travel to different worlds and galaxies, and that's pretty cool. That's a crucial feature in this game, to be able to have your own ship and fly around, going to different planets and star systems. That's pretty awesome. I can't speak too much on it because I didn't really get to enjoy it because my game got tanked by the save glitch, so and I'll explain that later. The combat feels pretty good early in the game, but it gets stale after a while. It does get pretty repetitive. Shooting in this game gives off a Red Dead Star Wars feel, which is fun. You even have an adrenaline ability similar to Deadeye from Red Dead Redemption 2, which comes in handy when you're outnumbered. You just, you know, slow down time, mark your targets, and K shoots like 5 people at once. Reloading your weapon, however, is reminiscent of Gears of War Active Reload to me, where you have to stop the bar in a certain area to get a faster reload, otherwise it overheats and takes twice as long. I'm pretty sure that's what they had in the Battlefront games too, something similar to that as well, but it's very basic. Stealth combat can be entertaining when using your pet Nyx, that's the name of the pet, to distract enemies while you scurry by or knock them out. And melee combat is about what you'd expect from, you know, a Ubisoft third-person game. It's not good or bad per se, but it's useful, and you will use the X button melee knockout quite a bit. The worlds are big and give off that Star Wars feel, and there are treasures scattered all over the place, which is a nice touch to just go exploring, and gives you a reason to go exploring and break into different buildings, all that kind of stuff. I mean, you are a scoundrel after all. Yeah, you will find yourself losing hours just exploring the worlds and finding hideouts to break into and steal from. It can honestly be a pretty enjoyable experience, and that was the best part of the game for me, in my opinion. Different types of wildlife litter the worlds, and different areas of the map are controlled by the different crime syndicates, so that's pretty entertaining depending on your standing with each faction. If you go into their territory, you're hostile immediately, or if you have a good reputation, you can kind of just walk into someone's territory and just walk into their buildings and steal right from them. Because you can go anywhere in their building, so it was pretty cool though having that. Having the different factions and being able to decide who you want to work for is awesome too. That's a great feature. I enjoyed working over the different crime syndicates to get what I wanted. If I had bad standing, I'd do some stuff for them, get them to good standing so I could walk right through the front doors into their building and steal from them. Ah, the logic. There's multiple mini games within the game, such as a few arcade games, a horse betting table, a poker style game called Sabak. And they're fun enough if you want to immerse yourself more into the Star Wars world, but they're more of a one and done type of thing. Once you've seen it, you've seen enough. The game is very straightforward for better or worse with its upgrade system and just items in general. Most items glow in that Ubisoft kind of way, so you know exactly where the item is. And once you've collected enough of the certain item to upgrade, the game tells you and makes you click unlock right there, and boom, there you go, new ability. It's very simplistic, but that's not always a bad thing. It works here. Alright, let's move on to the bad aspects of the gameplay. The game is slow to start and very low action in the beginning due to all the stealth and infiltration missions. After a few of these in a row, you just want to get out there and start blasting Danny DeVito style, you know? Using your grappling hook or climbing ledges, it can feel very robotic, very unnatural. It takes you out of the immersion every time you have to climb something. The combat's basic to the point that you just run and gun your way through, which is definitely a good time, but it gets repetitive really fast. You just shoot until your adrenaline meter fills up, then you use your Deadeye ability and kill a bunch of guys and rinse and repeat. And combat on the speeder bikes is super lame and boring. You just try to dodge left or right and crash into them until the adrenaline meter fills up, and then you use your Deadeye ability to shoot the guys on the speeder bikes. That's it. Some mini games are super lame, and they brought back the quick time events. It's just so boring. Like for instance, I had to do a food mini game for my pet Nix so that I could get a charm to equip on him, I guess. And it was just me watching a cutscene of Kay and Nix eating while I pushed the quick time buttons. And it brought me back to 2013. Upgrading in this game is uninspiring and lacking. I mean, you just collect the materials like I said, and then the game tells you that you have enough, and then you unlock it. It's just very brainless. And the world has that classic Ubisoft open world feel to it. It's a big world, treasures to collect, but they have to tell you where everything is with tons of markers all over your map. They can't really let you find a treasure box, they have to tell you exactly where they are. Many times you have to keep going back to the same places because you didn't have the correct ability the first time in order to get into a different part of the base. An example is you might need to blow a hole in something to get through the section, but the first time you were there you didn't have the ability to blow things up. So now you have to go back and go through the enemies in the base all over again. You might do that, you might be on like your 4th time doing that. It gets stale really quick because you have to stealth your way and kill the same enemies the same way. It's just, I don't know. Sometimes, like I said, you just want to get out there and start blasting Danny DeVito style. It gets frustrating. All the game mechanics just feel like watered down versions of other games, kind of mashed into one. Like from the Red Dead Redemption Deadeye, to the Gears of War active reloads, to the Uncharted climbing, to the Grand Theft Auto wanted levels from the Imperial and different factions when you go in there. It just feels like other games mashed together. But it's not all bad, it just feels basic. And I did have a few game crashes when I first started the game. I had to tweak my graphics a little bit to get it locked in. But the icing on the cake for me, boys, was the game-breaking save bug glitch that kept preventing me from saving my fucking game. Numerous times the game would glitch and say that I could not save my progress because I was still in combat, even though I hadn't been in combat in like 20 minutes, 30 minutes at that point. The game continued to say it was auto-saving when I was completing quests and things, but when I finally died, I lost hours worth of progress. This happened to me 2 times, at which I could no longer stomach playing this game. If I had to keep doing the same stealth missions over and over because the game glitched and wouldn't save. I had to put the game down and just move on. Maybe I'll come back to it later, but for now I can't keep smashing my head against the wall trying to play this game, so... For the summary of the gameplay, based off of what I was able to play, I'd say this is your standard Ubisoft open world game. that means pretty much everything about this game will be exactly a 5 out of 10. You'll constantly be trying to decide if you're having fun or if this is shit. It's Ubisoft's calling card, basically. There's definitely fun to be had with the combat and the flying around in your ship, speeder bike, but having to do so many stealth missions over and over really starts to become a drag. And because I had the game-breaking save glitch keep happening to me, I was not able to give a full review of this game. But regardless of how good or bad the game is, when you have a critical save game glitch like this that keeps happening, then your game is immediately a do not buy. I mean, being able to save your game properly is one of the most important things you need to have right. And you blew it, boys. But it's Ubisoft, so it's not surprising. Alright, moving on to the visuals, the good aspects of them. The graphics look great most of the time. I mean, they did a good job capturing the Star Wars atmosphere. I mean, seeing the Star Wars-esque junk lying around in the background and the architecture of the buildings, it really helps to put you right in the shoes of a lowly scoundrel just trying to make it, you know? The world feels so alive when you're just on a cliffside staring out. The graphics, they really are astounding. Give them the golf clap. I mean, the cutscenes look pretty well done in this game. I mean, there are moments when you're just taken in a cutscene and it makes you feel like you're watching a new Star Wars movie. And there's this certain Star Wars grittiness that these developers actually managed to get right. It's hard to describe it, but just the way things rust in Star Wars, or the droid junk, or dirty cups on the table, just the little details that you would expect to find in some of these Star Wars locations. I mean, good job to the devs with that, because they did seem to put a lot of detail into that. I appreciate that. Alright, the bad aspects of the visuals. The main character, Kay, looks like a little kid. This is just my own pet peeve. I mean, weird looking in the face and flat as a plank. He probably weighs about 100 pounds soaking wet. It's very immersion breaking when you're beating up multiple guys as this 100 pounds soaking wet little girl. But it's Disney Star Wars! So, I mean, what did we expect? The characters can have some weird robotic movements during the cutscenes every once in a while. Can kind of be jarring and take you out of it. Textures pop in and out occasionally, but it's not too bad. But like I said earlier, it wouldn't be a Ubisoft game without the yellow, hey, you can interact with this, paint all over the place. The ledges you can climb, the switches, most things you can interact with, they're all painted yellow. For a summary of the visuals, I mean, the graphics look phenomenal most of the time, and it really does make you feel like you're in that Star Wars universe. That being said, the poor choice of character design, along with the strange robotic movements, it can be jarring and kill the immersion at points. Overall though, the visuals are pretty good. I appreciate it, good job. Alright, moving on to the sound, the good aspects of it. Overall, the sound was on point. I enjoyed the main theme song right out of the gate, and it got stuck in my head several times. The song is its own thing, and it's not trying to recreate old Star Wars music, yet it still feels like it belongs there. And the rest of the sounds you've come to love from Star Wars are all there. I mean, from the blasters, to the speeders, to the droids, to the alien languages, to the cantinas. I mean, they all sound straight out of the Star Wars movies. The voice acting was pretty well done, and it helps to keep you engaged in the story. So I did appreciate that. I gotta look at this 100-pound soaking wet girl, but at least the voice acting did her justice, so. The bad aspects of the sound is, I don't really have anything to say bad about the sound. The devs nailed the sound as Star Wars in my book, so I didn't really have anything bad to say about it. So, sound summary, the sound was probably the best part of the game for me. Everything I've come to expect from Star Wars was there, and the devs deserve credit for nailing that aspect of the game. Good job, devs. Good job, Ubi shit. Alright, my final thoughts on this game. From what I was able to play, before I started getting plagued by the save bug, I was honestly overall enjoying my experience with Star Wars Outlaws! It has that typical Ubisoft feel of a perfect 5 out of 10 game. Nothing about it's great, but nothing about it is particularly horrible either. It's just a mediocre game that you can find mediocre enjoyment out of. All of the gameplay mechanics start to become repetitive fairly quickly, which is not good for an open world game. but there's definitely some fun to be had there, especially if you're a diehard Star Wars fan, if those even exist anymore. I mean, the game looks and sounds amazing, but that's not enough to save it from the repetitive gameplay mechanics and boring stealth missions. So should you buy this game? No! No, you should not buy this game. Main reason being for me, that I had a game-breaking save glitch that erased my progress numerous times. That was too much for me. But even if it weren't the case, there's no reason to actually purchase this game, as you can just play it on the Ubisoft Connect, which costs like $18 a month. So if you have to play this game, just get Ubisoft Connect and try it out. At least that way, if you don't like it, you can at least have the Ubisoft library of games to play. While your month runs out, you can go back and play the old Prince of Persias or something. Get your money's worth. But yeah, this game can't save Star Wars! It can't save Ubisoft. And hell, it can't even save my damn game. So Ubisoft's gonna be left staring at themselves in the mirror after this game and Assassin's Creed flop later this year. And wondering, where do we go from here? And honestly, probably bankruptcy. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for my review. I couldn't finish the game, unfortunately, so that's all I could do. But let me know what you guys think down below. Till next time, I am getting the fuck out of here. I can't handle any more Star Wars! I am out, boys. Peace!